And I don't take a lot of it home at the end of the day because, like you said, a lot of things happen in treatment centers, and anybody in the field will tell you that as well, that there's always something pretty profound happening within the treatment center. And so something that happened early on in my career, it was a 3-story treatment building, and one of the patients was missing. And at that facility, they do 15-minute rounds. And so between the rounds, they have identified this individual as no longer on property. And so a search goes on for the patient. They did have cameras, and so they viewed the cameras, and the individual is on the 3rd floor. And there's a very large overhang to prohibit anybody from falling off. And that overhang goes above your head as well. And so the individual was quite strong and was able to lift themselves up and over the overhang, and they jumped to get away from the treatment center. So it just tells you how strong addiction can be. And they're a voluntary treatment center. Right. So after that, everybody, was really informing all of the patients that were voluntary. If you don't want to be here, you could walk out the front door to try to prohibit somebody from jumping from the 3rd floor. And on the camera, the individual got up and walked away. So they ended up being okay.
Wow.
Starting over.
I don't know. What are we doing?
All right, let's rock and roll. Senior Director of Clinical Services. Hit the record button. Michelangelo, are we live? Okay, we're live.
We're live, fires.
All right, well, welcome to the Hopeaholics Podcast.
Yeah.
Today we have Erin Adams.
Senior
Director of Clinical Services for the Infiniti Group.
Wow.
How about that?
That's huge. That's a big job.
Yeah.
That's a mouthful.
That's like a top executive job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, how long you work here for?
I've been with the Infiniti Group. I started at Pillars Recovery 4.5 years ago.
Wow.
So I've been with the company that long.
Nice.
Yeah, the Infiniti Group came after. So she's been with the Infiniti Group the whole time.
Yeah.
Since its inception.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I've known Erin for a little while now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forget where we met.
Probably here.
Probably here. I would have thought I would have met you a few years ago.
Pillars?
Yeah.
4 years ago?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, I was in and out.
Yeah.
So maybe I just never noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just make sure you have the mic.
It's been a few years.
If you do talk to Shane, take the mic with you.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
I'll just keep my hand on it.
Yeah, may as well.
That's what I do. Yeah. Hey, Michelangelo. I've actually, my problem is I always.
Yeah, he likes to fumble and fimble.
Yeah, and play with this thing right here.
You nervous?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kept me a little nervous.
Who wouldn't be?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
I get nervous when we go live. I was really nervous yesterday. Was really super nervous the Tuesday before.
No, I wasn't. I was nervous yesterday because I was competing against the week before. When I only saw 4 people on there, I was thinking, shit. And then 3 minutes later, you had 25 people on. I was feeling great.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was cool.
That's great.
Did a lot of people show up yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a total of like 75, like 50
Wow.
some people
Yeah.
watched
That's
this
a big meeting.
A big meeting.
on YouTube live.
That's excellent.
So like the way it works is like the Zoom, you can participate live, and then we stream it out to YouTube live, and the people can watch it on YouTube live. You can only participate though by commenting, right, on YouTube live. Is that correct?
Zoom.
Oh, you can't even comment on YouTube live?
You can comment on YouTube, but like we want to, it's more for the people that participate. I kind of do both.
Yeah. So.
And that's your Recovery Out Loud meeting?
Yep.
Yeah.
Recover Out Loud.
Recover Out Loud.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It is awesome.
You're helping a lot of people.
I'm trying. Making me feel better.
How'd you get into becoming a therapist? Or what made you want to become a therapist?
That's a good question. I didn't actually know what I wanted to do out of high school. And so I just went to college and I started taking courses, and I ended up loving my psychology course. And I was soon to move on from an associate's degree. And so they told me, well, you need to pick a major. So I picked psychology as my major. And then I went to UCSD, and there I I did graduate.
You did, obviously. Yeah, right? The phone threw her.
Yeah,
the phone ticked off, and she got nervous for a second there because the phone went off, and she thought, "Oh, I did something wrong."
I didn't turn it on
She
silent.
didn't, yeah, that's fine.
We
That's
don't
fine.
care.
No, we don't. You could actually answer her if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So UC San Diego.
Yeah, and so I started volunteering at a domestic violence shelter.
Smart. Really smart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was a great experience.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty eye-opening. And so there I wanted to help the kids more than I was helping in the daycare. And they had therapists right next to us. So the children would come to daycare, and then sometime during the week, they would see their therapist. And so I decided to pursue that as a career.
Very nice.
Yeah.
It's nice that she's so sweet. Like her whole reasoning behind schooling, didn't know what she wanted to do. She was open, and then she fell in love with helping. You know what I mean? That's cool, bro. That's a God story. Like you're full of God right away.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
nice.
I think a lot of people go through that when they're younger, struggling with identity
Yeah.
and not really knowing what is going to be in their future.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I struggled, but I didn't go to college. Did you struggle? Did you go to college?
I went to college.
Yeah.
Yeah. I struggled. I would wake and bake when I was younger, you know? When I was going through college, I'd smoke a little bit of weed, and sometimes I just end up sleeping in the car in the parking lot to go back home. So college was not for me. I really gained traction after 4 years of college. I really hit the road hard working. Like that was working's my thing. School was never my thing. Yeah.
So UC San Diego.
Mhm.
Where did you go after that? Or was that it?
I did my master's at the California School of Professional Psychology. It's located in Pasadena.
Oh, okay.
Well, that sounds like it's one of two in the world.
I'm not sure how many they have.
You know what I mean, though?
Yeah, it was a great program,
Yeah.
though. There was only at least under 15 people there.
That's where I was going with it. Yeah. Yeah, really closed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to know everybody in the cohort really well. I'm still friends with a lot of them today.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Well, you spent 4 years with those people.
2 in
2
the
years.
master's.
Wow, yeah.
Do you know how all of that works?
No.
In America?
No.
Since you're Canadian?
No, I have no idea.
So associate degree usually takes 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Bachelor's degree usually 4 years. And then if you want your master's, it's
Another
typically
4.
2.
2.
Yeah.
Wow.
What about if you want to get your doctorate? Is it 1 year after your master's or 2? Or does it depend?
I think it's 2, but actually I'm so far removed from that, I don't remember.
Yeah. How long have you been a therapist?
So I've been a therapist working a little over 10 years.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I've been licensed about 7 years.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. But to get licensed, it takes some time. You have to do 3,000 hours. It can take anywhere from 2 to 3 years.
Wow.
If you're working full time.
Jesus.
But for a lot of people, it does take longer.
Well, what drew you to come into substance abuse area? Like, why not a hospital? You know, something different, more streamlined, or.
Yeah. So part of my master's program, they had great education on addiction. One of the courses was addiction in the family, which I'm a family therapist. So the family systems is really important to me. And the professor that I had, he was a clinical director at Casa Palmera. I think you probably heard of it. It's in Carlsbad. And the class was really profound in that they spoke a lot about addiction as a disease and how addiction treatment originated. It was a punitive model. And I found that a lot of people do think of addiction critically, either the families or in society. I think they have good intentions to want to help the addict, but it may come out critical, and that in turn will not actually help the person. It could keep them rooted in their depression longer or make them feel guilt or shame. And which can be a trigger to want to use. And so they found that non-punitive models were most successful, and I felt that I could really help those people out.
Wow. So you felt that you could change the model. Like you really had a big thought there.
Yeah.
Like you wanted to change the whole feeling they were giving.
Yeah, I understood addiction and felt that I could be a positive support for them.
Wow. That's nice.
Yeah.
Just fell in love.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I agree that the punitive model is just like it is a horrible model. You know, it's like when you pick up the phone as an addict or an alcoholic, you're already beat down to the ground.
Right.
To the ground, and it's to pick up the phone and call. You already feel shame and guilt, you know, and to pick up that phone and reach out for help. I believe in a love-based model. You know.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People need to be loved.
Well, it was a long time ago, like Dr. Spock, spare the rod, spoil the child. You know, it rotates, it comes around. In 20 years, beatings could be back. We don't know. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think people need to be loved for who they are. And then once they are, then they can be motivated to get better.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough for me. Sometimes I just want to take a baseball bat at people. You know, change, motherfucker, change. It's not easy. She's got a lot of patience, though, and a great sense of humor. Wow.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Tell us more. How'd you start, like, your early days?
So right out of college, I worked for a nonprofit, and I did part-time in elementary schools. I was based out of 4 elementary schools, and in those schools, 90% of the families fall below the poverty line. It's a great learning environment because you learn about behavioral intervention, and it's all trauma-informed care approach. And then also at that same site, the other part of my time, because I was full-time there, was in the community center doing individual and group therapy for adults and children. I facilitated the anger management groups, and those are court-mandated 52 weeks of anger management.
Is this for the kids or for the family?
That's for adults,
For
and
adults.
it's quite intimidating as, you know, fresh out of college,
Yeah.
go into a group of court-mandated individuals.
Especially when you're talking about trauma-informed on a daily basis. So your trauma daily. So all these kids were affected in some really bad way all the time. Is that what that means?
A trauma-informed care approach is really a strength-based approach
Yeah. Okay.
and promoting safety.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and if you have a child in the classroom doing something wrong, you're not going to point out that child and say, Johnny, stop poking your neighbor. You're going to point out the child that is paying attention and listening to the teacher. And you're going to say, great job, Chad, for doing, for great listening. Yeah.
I understand. Yeah, I always found
So more
psychology
strength-based,
fascinating. Yeah.
less criticism,
Less
what we
criticism.
were talking about.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's important because we're tough on each other. I mean, I'm not tough on him, but I'm tough on me getting up. And are you?
Yes, I've heard of your approach on how to
Yeah.
motivate yourself in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not something that I could recommend, but if it works for you, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
she's meaning more me.
Yeah.
I'm really mean to
Yeah,
myself.
you are.
Yeah.
Does everybody know your approach
Yeah,
to yourself?
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I put it out on the podcast.
Yeah.
I usually tell myself to get out. Lately, though, I will admit, because I was listening to David Goggins, and David Goggins said, when my alarm clock goes off at 4 a.m., when mine goes off at 3 a.m., I don't hit the snooze button. I just tell myself, this is what we do now.
Yeah.
We get up at 3 a.m. That's just what we do.
Yeah.
And that's how I talk to myself now.
That's good.
Yeah. Before, I used to call myself a lazy. If I don't get up, that's what I would call myself. If you don't get out of bed,
Yeah.
you're lazy,
Yeah, I did that today.
fat,
Yeah. And I'm
loser.
feeling it today.
Loser.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're feeling that?
I'm feeling big.
Yeah. Well,
Thick,
that's good.
No, I meant,
Don't you like to feel big?
around the belly button, though. Yeah, just one of those days.
So you worked in domestic violence?
Yes, that was my first volunteer
Wow.
job.
Smart volunteer.
Well, not my first volunteer job, but my first job in the industry, I would say. Yeah, and I worked part-time there.
Nice. So did they have was this court mandated domestic violence where they had to do it?
So it was a shelter. So if somebody is a victim of domestic violence, there's a hotline that they could call, and it's emergency housing. So from the community, you can't really tell what it is. There's pretty big walls, and it's disguised to be unmarked within the community. And then within the walls, there's a cul-de-sac and a lot of apartment houses around. The cul-de-sac, the daycare is also within that almost compound, and the therapy offices are right there as well.
Oh, nice.
So they have access to the daycare designed to help.
So you were actually so you were working with the victims.
I was, with the children in the daycare.
Not the perpetrators.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
And then they would come in right from, in some cases, right from an emergency situation where they may have physical injuries and emotional injuries.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, that's heavy. I don't know if I could do that.
You have to learn how to do that kind of stuff. You can't. I mean, if you can't do it, don't go into that field.
Obviously,
because there's times when you're going to have to work with individuals that may have done things that you don't agree with.
Yeah,
and you have to, as a therapist, you've got to be able to do that. How do you train your therapist to be able to handle stuff like that?
I think the colleges do a great job in training their therapists on how to handle that. That was a question I had in my undergrad and the bachelor's program, is how does a therapist, or how do you work in this field and not take on everything that the patient is telling you and not go home every day crying from what you hear. And I do believe it comes with time and experience, learning more about the diagnoses, learning about the experiences, and then also hearing more and working more with the individuals.
Yeah.
It's tough with the kids for me, though, because you're talking about an innocent 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old.
Yeah.
Has a black eye, bloody nose. Father's been beating him for the last month,
Yes.
And I mean, Jesus.
Yes.
You got to kind of,
It is tough.
Yeah. How do you not take that home?
Right. That's why I work with adults now,
Yes,
too.
that's what I'm saying. Smart, right? I mean,
yeah.
And I've always stayed away from 18 and under in the 15 years I've been doing this. Same with you.
Yeah.
It's just a tough demographic.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
California makes it tough, too, to open a treatment center for adolescents.
Yeah.
So that's really why I've never gone that direction, primarily.
Yeah.
So what did you do after that? What was the next step?
So I was doing the court-mandated anger management groups, and then I also facilitated teen substance use groups. Following that, I worked there for 2 years, and then I got a job with the Department of Children and Family Services in Los Angeles County. So I went from Pasadena back to San Diego and then back up to LA. And there I investigated child abuse and neglect as a children's social worker. You do assessments of the living environments or their foster care homes. You write very lengthy court reports, and you make decisions in the child's best interest.
Wow. She got deep. That's that's waist deep into it.
Yeah, that can be that can really be something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really was. They have a fantastic training. It was at least 2 months long.
Nice.
Wow,
Yeah.
good for you.
Was this as a fully licensed therapist, or was this during your intern?
During my
they still call it
internship.
an internship now?
They do. Yeah, I was obtaining hours. And it actually took me longer to get my hours because the county did say that they had a supervisor to provide hours, but with the county, it ends up taking quite a long time to gain any supervision.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you're
It's
working
just a
for
lack
free.
of resources.
Not for free.
Not for free.
But when you're trying to, it's how many hours is it to
3K.
3,000.
Yeah, that's a lot of
That's a
hours.
lot.
It's a lot of hours.
And
to
then
log.
to be able to account your hours, you need to have supervision by
that's what
somebody
I meant.
who is
No
licensed.
supervision, no supervision, no pay.
You got paid.
No,
right?
yes, you get paid.
Yeah, but no hours.
Yeah,
She got half paid.
right. I mean, I feel that way.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah.
But it was a valuable experience.
That was crazy.
Yeah, you still learn a lot.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're making decisions based on these children who've been abused, mentally, physically, and then they're going into some foster parent that God knows what's going on there because they get paid, right?
There is payment
There
to
is
the
payment,
foster
yeah.
parents, and that payment is for the care of the
Mhm.
child.
Yeah.
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 Bad stuff happens in
Bad
foster
stuff.
homes.
Yeah.
Bad stuff happens in a lot
True.
of homes, though, right?
True.
I mean, I'm sure you witnessed a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Most of the foster homes are a safe place for the child to go to. So that environment is an improved environment from where they were taken out of.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I'm looking at calling my daughter has her bat mitzvah coming up. You know what bat mitzvah is?
Mm-hmm.
So she has to do a mitzvah, which is a blessing. So the blessing is we're going to go to the girls and boys clubs and help a family.
Very cool.
Yeah. So we're
That's
going to start that
awesome.
probably next month and do that once a month or twice a month with a 10-year-old or 11-year-old girl, bring her to the home and, help that way.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I worked for the Boys and Girls Clubs growing up.
You did?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, always gave back to the community. I love that stuff, man. I love kids, and for them to get hurt, unexcusable. I can't stand that shit.
Yeah, it was really tough to
Yeah.
work in, and ultimately that's why I left. It's too tough.
It's too tough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
My heart goes out to anybody who can do it, and there's been a lot of people who've stayed in those careers
Yeah.
for their life.
Yeah. Yeah, there is.
God's work. Definitely God's work. Yeah. Sullen! Sorry, I had to get that. It's just you're wearing the shirt. I'm wearing the shirt. We love Sullen. Just have to break it up. So what else? Well, how about your beginning? Your mother, father, good childhood. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I was born in Okinawa in Japan. I
Wow.
was from a military family, so there's a
Oh,
base
shit.
there.
I never knew.
Yeah, my dad has been in military for life.
Wow.
And my mom worked for Kaiser most of her life. She was a PA, and before that, she was a dietitian.
Mm.
Yeah. And then we moved to Maryland. I stayed in Japan for 2 years. We moved to Maryland. I grew up there, so we got to have lots of snow days. I have 2 older brothers. Do you guys have brothers?
I have one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I had to think for a second.
Yeah. So you kind of get pushed around with brothers.
Yeah.
I think they make you a well-rounded individual.
Were you younger than your brothers?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm the
me too.
youngest of the
Yeah.
family.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I got pushed. So you're not even the youngest, but
I'm
your
old.
brother pushed you around.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did. I won't let him know that, though. He's not going to watch this.
Yeah, this is the beginning of the podcast.
Is it?
He'll get
Yeah,
this
he
far.
might see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's tough.
Yeah, but my brothers are great. And then I moved to California probably in the 5th grade. Oh, no, I'm sorry, in the 3rd grade.
With your family or alone?
Yeah,
Okay.
with my family.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just by herself.
I was just fucking her.
Packed
Because the
up-
way she
packed up-
talked about it, and
pack-
she's so
packed up
mature.
her,
Who knows with her?
Packed up.
She's
her,
an overachiever,
her
bro. She could
lunchbox,
have. She,
had a backpack
if
full
anyone
of clothes.
could, it would be Erin.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you moved here, school, and then, now you got married, we heard a little while ago.
Yeah, I just got married.
Nice.
I'm a newlywed.
Nice. How's that?
It's great.
Oh, God. Good for
Yeah.
Are you guys thinking about doing the newlywed game?
No, never heard of it.
What?
you. What?
You haven't heard of the newlywed game?
No.
She's way too young for that.
No, they have like a new version.
Yeah,
Is that
they
a
do.
TV show?
It is
Yeah,
a TV
it's
show.
a game show.
Oh.
She works
Okay.
during the day. She's not a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah, it's a game show.
Yeah, it's a game show.
Then you guys go on and you
Oh, yeah,
they
that's
ask
right.
you questions
About each other. Yeah.
and then you have to see if you get the answer right.
yeah.
Does Jack like
I've
running up
heard
the
of
hill or
it.
down the hill?
Yeah,
It's fun.
it was funny. I
Yeah.
used to watch that show when I was
Yeah.
young.
Yeah.
So when did you get in? What year? How long have you actually been working in addiction treatment? Is Pillars is where you started, or did you work somewhere else?
No, so after the Department of Children and Family Services, I went to Solid Landings. That was my first therapy position,
Wow.
specifically in a residential treatment center for substance use. And that was about 8 years ago.
Yeah, we know about Solid Landings.
Oh, yeah, for
don't you?
sure. Oh, yeah.
You used
Good
to
old
do
times.
some work with them. It's pretty busy back then, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. It was crazy times.
Yeah, I worked in the women's program there, and then towards the end, I worked in the men's program.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Were you there when they shut down?
I left right before. I was on the decline. So a lot of staff were leaving by choice and then also being laid off.
Yeah.
So the company was dwindling.
Yeah. Tough times.
Mm-hmm.
Tough times breed
Strong fucking men.
tough people,
Yeah.
strong people. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be men.
No.
Tough times breed strong
Was that a little,
people.
was I a little off there?
No, I think the actual guy, when he's saying it, he said it's men, but
Yeah.
I like to move that stuff because tough times can also
Yeah.
breed strong women.
That can.
Yes, they can.
Yeah. Women are stronger than men, bro. They take higher pain threshold.
For sure.
Yeah.
I agree.
Have you tried the cold plunge? You done it yet?
Not yet.
God, bro. He just keeps telling me next week.
Yeah, I hear there's a lot of benefits to that.
Yeah.
Right? There is. And
Mhm.
he's a little injured.
Yeah, I don't know that I could do it myself.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to do it. I just, life is not exactly where I want it to be right now today. So I'm not going to think about going. Cold plunge is the last thing on my mind today. I had a lot of other things on my mind.
Like dinner.
Yeah.
What else? Tell us something no one knows. Like, tell us just something off the wall. Some college. Tell us something. You got married.
Yes.
All right. Are you planning a children here? What's going on?
We would love to have children
Oh,
in our
nice.
future. Or child in our future.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Child. So just one? Uno?
Um,
Not that that's my brother has one kid.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think one and then further assessment.
Further assessment.
Got to reassess
Right.
Yeah.
after that. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like, so I want to make an educated decision.
Right. That's
Yeah.
true.
Mhm.
Yeah. You're going to fall in love right away. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I hear it's
Yeah.
great.
That's nice. Yeah. Chad has 3.
I have 3. 2 biological children and a stepdaughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm an avid backpacker.
Oh, you are?
I love to go backpacking. I've been going backpacking since middle school. Yeah.
Nice.
Yes, and a lot of crazy stuff happens out there. It can be quite dangerous.
You go with your husband now?
Yes.
Is he a backpacker as well? How'd you guys
he
meet?
started with me. We met on a online dating app.
Nice.
We went to a sushi restaurant.
Oh, that's awesome.
It didn't go so well.
What do you mean?
Yeah, our first date didn't go so well,
Really?
but the second date
Why
was
did
great.
he force you to pay?
He was distracted. There was some important football game on. And apparently, it was right behind my
Oh, my
head.
God.
Yeah, so I thought he didn't like me.
That's hilarious. Super Bowl or something? Or you don't know? Just any game?
Yeah, it's probably
So he's a
any
football
game.
guy.
He's obsessed.
That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny how he puts her under the TV.
What's his team?
The Falcons. He's from Georgia.
So the Falcons were playing right behind
I
you.
honestly have no idea who was playing.
That's
I didn't
hilarious.
even know there was a football game until I realized how distracted he
Right,
was.
dear.
I was like, "What? What are you
sit
looking
right
at?"
there. Sit right there under the TV. I'll try to look at you. Sit right there. It's perfect. I like this guy. You know what I mean? It's fun. It's a funny move. Takes her on a date to a place where there's a TV. He wants to watch a football game. Puts her right in front of the TV. Orders food, and he's watching the movie, watching the TV, the football game.
Yeah,
On
and
the
the
first date.
conversation suffered.
On the first date, bro. Right?
I've been on a couple of dates like that where the conversation was not good.
Yeah.
Was it your fault?
Well, it was probably more the girl's fault, but because I'm shy,
Yeah.
if the girl's not talking, then it's hard for me to talk, So, and I went on a date one time where I thought the girl totally was not interested, and then she hit me up 2 weeks later, and I was like, oh, okay.
How come you didn't call me?
Yeah. I was like, because you didn't talk the whole entire date and didn't eat hardly any of your food.
Well, I'm on Adderall. And I just couldn't talk that day.
Yeah, it's probably for the best. If the conversation wasn't flowing, things work out.
So
for
who
a
called?
reason.
Who called? You called? He called?
He called
He
the
called.
second time. Yeah.
Were you surprised when he answered the phone?
Yeah, I was
Instant
surprised
yes?
he reached out again
Instant yes, I'll go.
because I thought he didn't. I
Yeah.
thought we were just done, and
Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't going to go any further.
Yeah. Wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a good story.
Yeah.
True love.
Did
Are you-
this come out at your wedding? I feel like I've heard this story.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Other embarrassing stories also came out that won't be
Oh
discussed
yeah,
today.
your wedding. That was great. Yeah,
I was-
good times.
You
Good
weren't
time.
there.
No, I was not invited.
I was there.
I know you were. Oh, I know you were.
It was in Mexico.
It was a tropical destination that I was not invited to.
Puerto Vallarta.
Puerto Vallarta. Yeah, thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Well,
Next time.
No, next time.
I was joking, man. I'm teasing you. He's going to watch for sure. What's his name?
Nick.
Nick. Hey, Nick. How you doing, buddy? All right. That was uncomfortable.
you are really
He
on.
Not for
actually
me. That
doesn't
was
know.
uncomfortable for Nick. If anybody else, he's
You're-
feeling weird
You're
right
on
now.
one today.
I'm on.
Yeah.
It's the Red Bull.
Yeah, slow down.
I'm
on
gonna
those
slow it
bad
down.
boy. A little
Yeah, he actually doesn't know I'm doing the podcast today.
Really?
Yes, I'm a private person.
Yeah.
Try to keep it under wraps.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people I want to view my podcast and learn about my life.
There's probably only about 300 million people that are going to watch
Yeah.
this podcast eventually.
Yeah, we talked about that
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah,
Right to the
Yeah.
top.
just America.
America.
Maybe a few Canadians,
Oh, for sure.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It won't be tomorrow though. They won't watch it tomorrow, or they won't watch it. Like even when it first gets released, you know, they hit anywhere from 150 to,
400 or 500.
400 or 500 views right now. Yeah, and growing. We're
Mind
about
you,
to-
Terrence hit 1 million, bro. This could boost to 1 million too. Who knows?
That's just a little clip.
Yeah, it's just a
That's
little
just
clip.
A little clip of a reel.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll do it. Yeah. We could
Yeah,
find a clip.
for sure. Because there's some funny stuff here.
So what happened? What happened after?
There's some really funny stuff here.
Yeah.
You know,
So
after what?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
after solid landings.
Oh,
Oh,
after
where I was
solid
going,
landings.
yeah.
Yeah, then I landed. I started working for a recovery hospital, and I was a therapist initially.
Oh, the one over here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then I became the quality assurance and compliance manager. It's a very interesting job. You get to field all of the complaints that come
Yeah.
in. So you look at process improvement, you look at where the company can improve, provide training to staff, do a lot of research in that role, a lot of auditing, looking at patient outcomes, assisting the clinical department and all other departments. It's a great learning opportunity. And then I moved to Pillars after that.
Right. Okay, that's good. That's where you got your kind of your business side
Yeah.
of the. That was your first experience there, huh?
With business?
Yeah.
Probably in the recovery hospital,
Yeah.
I would say.
Right.
hmm
Doing all of that stuff.
Yeah, I worked there 2.5 years.
Really
Uh,
balanced,
Yeah.
you know?
I want to know more about what you do at the Infiniti Group because I have no idea. I know you have this fancy title and everything, and
Yeah. It can't fit on a card, can it? Is it this on a card?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, it
top-
fits
two-
on a
two lines.
card.
2 lines.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So I'm a therapist by trade. So I work directly with the clinical managers, so clinical supervisors, assistant clinical directors, clinical program managers. I oversee the 6 programs within the Infiniti Group. And it comes with a lot of supervision, a lot of meetings for the facilities, fielding day-to-day clinical concerns, any patient issues, staff issues, training, onboarding, compliance,
Wow.
auditing, process improvement. Every day is different.
Yeah.
That's why I love it here. That's why I love this field as well, because every day is different.
right. That's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
Every day is different. You never know what's going to happen either. It's
You
like
never
just-
know.
you just never know what surprise is coming around the corner today.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
crazy.
Wake up, go to work, and you're like, "Hey, what's happening
Yeah.
today?" Get to hear all kinds of crazy stories.
Yeah.
You got any stories that won't break HIPAA or confidentiality?
That's what I was going to. Yeah.
Yeah, something interesting that happened that, and I don't take a lot of it home at the end of the day because, like you said, a lot of things happen in treatment centers, and anybody in the field will tell you that as well, that there's always something pretty profound happening within the treatment center. And so something that happened early on in my career, it was a 3-story treatment building, and one of the patients was missing. And at that facility, they do 15-minute rounds. And so between the rounds, they have identified this individual as no longer on property. And so a search goes on for the patient. They did have cameras, and so they viewed the cameras, and the individual is on the 3rd floor. And there's a very large overhang to prohibit anybody from falling off. And that overhang goes above your head as well. And so the individual was quite strong and was able to lift themselves up and over the overhang, and they jumped to get away from the treatment center. So it just tells you how strong addiction can be. And they're a voluntary treatment center. Right. So after that, everybody, was really informing all of the patients that were voluntary. If you don't want to be here, you could walk out the front door to try to prohibit somebody from jumping from the 3rd floor. And on the camera, the individual got up and walked away. So they ended up being okay.
Wow.
Holy crap.
Yeah, but there's quite a lot of stories of individuals risking their lives.
For nothing.
For addiction or for the substance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Which they understand that too, because that's the whole mission of the Hopeaholics, is to raise awareness into overdose and fentanyl.
Right.
And individuals know that.
Yeah.
That addiction can be so powerful.
I mean, it's crazy. People do whatever. It's like he was trying to break out.
Yeah.
He did break out.
And front door's open.
And he could have just walked out the front door.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He thought he was in jail.
Yeah. That's the mind, bro.
Yeah.
He was in jail.
Prison of your own mind.
Yeah.
That's like you're in a prison of your own mind. You're too afraid to tell the people that are, there to help that you no longer want their help.
Mm-hmm.
And so instead of doing that, the fear of doing that put him in a situation that could have killed him.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You ever done stuff like that? I mean, not like that, maybe not to that extreme, but afraid of telling somebody something.
Oh, yeah.
You just,
yeah. There's that fear. And once you do it, you're like, God. That's why I was reading something the other day. It said, do it first thing in the morning. Don't carry it throughout the day. Just get rid of it. It's going to be over.
Fast and quick.
Fast and quick. Exactly.
That's what I like to think.
Yeah. Do it first thing in the morning. Wake up. Don't. That's what I try to do now.
Don't
waste your fucking time.
Don't perseverate.
Yeah.
What is it?
Procrastinate.
She said perseverate.
Oh, really? That's a new word.
Don't overthink it.
What is it?
Don't overthink
no,
it.
No, the word. What's the word?
Perseverate.
Perseverate?
Yeah.
That's the first time I've heard that word. Perseverate.
I mean, it's not
Thank you.
Not surprising.
Yeah.
That's the first time you've heard that word. Look it up in the Canadian dictionary.
Well, I'm going to, because she could be pulling a fast one on me. Don't worry.
Just making up words in
That's
here.
what I'm saying.
Now you have me second guessing.
Yeah. Perseverate. I've never heard it before, but it's probably a word. Perseverate.
For sure it's a word.
You guys carry on.
You got to ask Siri, buddy.
Is perseverate a word?
Yes, it is.
Repeat or prolong an action. Thought or utterance after the stimulus that prompted has ceased. It is a word.
And you still don't know what that means.
I have no idea. Yeah, good times. Wow. What else? Happily married, great job, career actually. Not even a job, a career. A career. She's not going anywhere. This is a 30, 40-year career right here.
Yeah.
Yes, I found where I fit.
Right.
In addiction, I really do love what I do. I don't ever see myself leaving the field.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it can be a tough one to work in, but
Really?
for me, I love it. Just like, working with children, some people aren't able to do that. And
some people love it.
yeah. And some people cannot work in addiction, and other people love it.
I mean, for me, I've never felt like I've worked a day in the 22 years that I've been in this field. I just get up and I come to here or wherever I've worked. I've worked here for 20, so 21 almost.
Well, a couple years off in between.
Coming in 21. I've never taken
Well, you know what I mean.
I've never taken years off.
No,
I've taken a
undisclosed
couple months off.
undisclosed periods of time for different reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you love what you do and you're helping people and you're helping families,
Yeah.
it's very meaningful.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, for me, it's not hard though, and I don't take stuff home because I remember back in one of my early classes, somebody said that you're not responsible for the person's success, and as well as you're not responsible for their failure. You're responsible to give them the tools to, try to better themselves. And it's their choice whether they pick up those tools and use them. So when I heard that, I stopped thinking that I actually had anything to do with somebody getting better. I'm just a vessel that of knowledge or tools that they can use to, to better themselves. And when I realized that, it's like, I'm not really doing anything. Especially like in therapy and I don't know about therapists, but counselors, it's not really their job to be like, hey, this is how you're supposed to do it. This is how you get clean, especially a case counselor that is also suffers from addiction, because their way is not the only way.
Right.
And it's the job. And this was another, I think it was actually the same professor at my school. He was really, really good. He said it as a counselor, it's your job to guide them to what is best for them, not what you think is best for them, but
Well
what
said.
they think is best for them. What do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Same with therapy?
Yes. Yeah, even more so with therapy. Yeah, because there's a wide variety of tools out there, and it's just really up to the individual what's going to work best for them. You may try something and it seems to not really be effective, and so you're going to try something else and present all of the options, the benefits, the drawbacks, to ensure that the patient's making the best decision for themselves.
So kind of want to talk a tiny bit about the program itself, because you're very involved in putting together the clinical side of the program. Can you give us a little bit of background on what happens at the different treatment centers?
Sure. Yeah. So the Infiniti Group, we have 6 programs. We have Hope by the Sea in San Juan Capistrano and Serene Behavioral Health in San Juan Capistrano. Pillars Recovery in Costa Mesa. Lake Arrowhead, we have Hope Lodge. And then in Palm Springs, we have Ken Seeley Communities and Mental Wellness. So at Hope by the Sea, that's our longest standing program of 20 years saving lives and helping families. We've helped over 5,000 families.
Yeah.
We have all levels of care, detox, residential, PHP, and IOP. And we serve men, women, veterans, and then we also have a Christian track. So when you first come into treatment with detoxification and residential, you're going to have 24/7 staff on site. And they're going to participate in a lot of programming. That's going to be 7 days a week, 7 hours a day.
Yeah.
And then at the lower levels of care, after, depending on their stability, generally around day 21 to 28, they will then transfer to a lower level of care and have more freedom. And so that's designed to help them utilize their free time to begin to utilize their coping skills or build their life outside of treatment so that they can handle the downtime in sobriety. We're going to be taking them to meetings, to 12-step meetings, encouraging them to get a sponsor or any other alternative sober support groups. Serene Behavioral Health is our primary mental health program. And we do a DBT program there. So it's very intensive therapy. And that's also a residential program. So there's going to have 24/7 staff on site and lots of clinical groups, 7 days a week, 7 hours. And then at Pillars Recovery, we have houses in Laguna Beach, Corona del Mar, and then Huntington and Costa Mesa is where the PHP IOP is at. And it's a similar model to Hope by the Sea with 24/7 staff monitoring for the first period of detox in residential. And then at Howard Lodge, that's a 6-bed residential treatment center. in Lake Arrow, it's beautiful up there. The house is beautiful. The settings are very nice. So we do a lot of trips out to the lake. And then the clinical program is going to have the same intensity of services.
Yeah.
And then at Ken Seeley Communities, they focus on the trauma egg, and mental wellness is their primary mental health program.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a mouthful.
Right.
She covers there.
Yeah. And you basically oversee
Everything.
all of that for the clinical.
I do. I have a lot of help. Yeah. And what I like about Hope by the Sea is we have psychodrama. You had Bailey on, the clinical director. And so she talked a lot about psychodrama, and we have family sculpture. So the patients are able to talk about their trauma. And then you also had Frank on as well, who talked more about that. And then there's a full gym on site, a full basketball court. So the patients are able to go to the gym every day. And that's really good for them.
Period. New paragraph. She is a fucking infomercial, brother. She's good. She knows everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I say we keep her.
I don't know that you have a say in it.
I don't.
But yeah, I'm definitely keeping her.
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Top notch.
Top notch. Yeah.
One
Yeah,
of
there's
those-
something for everybody.
There is, right?
Yeah, if any program is going to fit somebody's needs between the 6 programs.
100%.
So
Yeah.
like, even if you, you start at, like, say, I mean, the part of the problem is, though, is not all insurance is accepted at all the different programs. But I feel like, probably getting into pillars is is like the hardest, right? But let's say, you're at Hope by the Sea and you're just not feeling it, and maybe it's too big of a program. You feel a little bit lost. You could go up to Howard Lodge, or I just called it by the wrong name.
Yeah, you did.
Hope Lodge.
Hope.
That's what it used to be called.
Former name. Mhm.
Faux pas.
Yeah. Previously known as,
Yeah.
but now known as Hope Lodge. So they could transfer up there, or, possibly to Ken Seeley Communities. If it's just not the right fit. And sometimes it's not the right fit, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the nice thing about Pillars is that it's right along the beaches. So if somebody is more interested in a beach setting for their recovery, it's great there.
Yeah. And there's no I just want to be clear, there's no swimming pools at Pillars?
There is no swimming pools,
Okay, yeah.
just the natural one outside.
Yeah, the natural one. There's a nice in the Laguna Beach house has a very nice ocean view,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, really nice.
It does.
Downtown as well, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't want people to get confused, because sometimes you'll hear something about Hope by the Sea and then go to Pillars and there's no pool.
No.
Yeah. If
Right.
you want a swimming pool, you have to go to Hope by the Sea or Ken Seeley
Yeah.
Communities.
What an
I
ocean view.
find what's even more important, though, and what's more effective than a swimming pool or even an ocean view is the actual clinical work that is done at each of these programs. Because the ocean's not going to get you sober.
If you're reading your book while looking out at the ocean, it will.
Which book?
The big book.
The big book?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got to put the work in.
You do have to
Got
put the
to.
work in.
Yeah.
It's not vacation.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Far from it.
Not if you want to get clean and stay clean. You got to work through that pain. You got to walk through the pain. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Once stable, and our programs are very intensive. All of the groups are evidence-based, and the group material will build upon each other. So you'll learn skills that'll help you right at the stage that you are in. So, to help you process your trauma in the beginning, you're going to learn grounding skills. You're going to learn how to cope with the physical sensations when you have a reminder of trauma, so that when you do your trauma work with your therapist or in the group settings, then you are able to regulate yourself after and be able to continue to work through that.
Nice. Did you know all that stuff?
Building blocks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So for, relapse prevention, for
Yeah.
example, right when somebody comes in, We will work on relapse justification, which are some of the things you're talking about. Somebody may want to leave treatment early and they will call home and tell their family members, oh, well, the house is, not up to standard, and they'll find some sort of complaint to focus on so that they could leave treatment early. And in times like that, the role of the family to best support their loved one would be to help them remain in treatment. And that's for all treatment centers. It's very common in treatment for somebody to be uncomfortable with withdrawal and then want to leave. And then for families that do allow them to leave or do help them get home and not stay in treatment or to another treatment center, that would be a form of enabling. And it's helping them continue their addiction. Even though they may have good intentions, they may want to help their loved one, but that's seen as a relapse justification.
Yeah.
And then later on in treatment, they'll be working on like prevention planning.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny because that happens often, and I have to tell you from my own experience, I've been at one of the nicest treatment centers around, and I found something wrong with it.
Yeah.
Ocean view,
Great food.
king size bed.
Yeah.
But I just wasn't ready, so I'm gonna focus on something else.
Right.
And I mean, nobody really enabled me to leave because I enabled myself at the time. But I understand it, and it's like if you can just sit for 5 more minutes, if the family can sit for 5 more minutes, so many people leave. And this isn't just treatment, but we're specifically talking about treatment. So many people leave 5 minutes before the miracle happens, and that miracle is that all of a sudden, oh my God, I had that aha moment, and my eyes, I had that moment of clarity, and my eyes opened up, and I'm like, oh my God, now I see it clearly.
I don't want to die.
I don't want to die.
Yeah.
Because this is a deadly disease.
Yeah.
It's not a joke.
No.
Like, people are dying. We have friends dying.
Yeah.
We have loved ones dying. I have a family member that died,
That's why we're here, brother.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very serious. And that could be that day that they walk out of the door.
Yeah.
It could be just one time that they use and then they overdose.
Yep.
And that's happened to a lot of people.
It sure has.
Mm-hmm.
Especially even more so in this day and age than in the old day, because like you think you're going to go do a little toot of some meth.
Yeah.
Toot is it's like a fart, but
Is that in the dictionary?
toot. Yeah, toot is definitely in the dictionary. Is it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never searched that one out, but I know that word though.
Right.
I'll give it to you.
I don't know what my point was.
Don't
what was
know
I
either.
even saying?
We're not sure.
Do
said
a little
toot?
line. Do a little line of
Yeah,
meth.
you never know what's
Yeah,
in there.
you don't know what's in
Could be
there.
fentanyl, and it could be the last time you.
Yeah, just like that.
Yep.
Right. And we've had people come in and we do a UAs, a urinary analysis, when they enter into treatment. And a lot of patients are surprised when they have a positive result for fentanyl and they didn't know that that wasn't what they were using.
God, can you imagine? Fuck me, man. Taking a pill and you fucking end up shaking like that and you're gone.
Yeah.
Or fuck. I wouldn't like growing up right now because I was a recreational user.
Maybe maybe you wouldn't have been.
Maybe I wouldn't have been.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be today anyways. It's not advised. Even recreational marijuana is dangerous. Yeah, it's crazy.
Tell us about the veterans. What do you know?
So we serve veterans here at Hope by the Sea and Serene Behavioral Health. And the veterans, we're a community care network provider, so they can contact their VA and then let them know that this is a treatment center that they want to go to.
Right.
And we'll help them here.
Nice.
They're able to stay longer, up to a year.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, that's what's good about like their insurance. It's so much better. It's harder for them to get in, but once they're in, it's easier for them to stay. Whereas with the private insurance, really easy to get in, hard to get them to stay. Not the patient, the insurance.
Yeah.
So That's a mission of the Hopeaholics too. Both of those things.
Huge mission.
Yeah.
Huge mission.
Yeah.
Just
Right.
thank God that the military has the right with longevity, though, because that's a big key right there.
Yeah.
We just got to push them in quicker.
Right.
Yeah. We'll get her. We'll get her.
Yep.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say?
To your friends, family, and
Yeah.
loved ones.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me on. It was a pleasure being able to talk about the Infiniti Group and the services. And I hope that, with the Hopeaholics, it helps inspire somebody to get sober, maybe a family member to talk to their loved one or tell them how much they love them versus, criticism. Hope it'll help somebody.
I hope it'll help somebody stay in treatment too, just based on what you said that a family member might, if nothing else, hopefully a family member will hear this and say, no, you're not coming home today.
Right.
A mom or a dad.
Yeah.
Can I actually see a picture of the kitchen food?
Right.
Because you're saying there's no food there.
And there always is.
There's plenty of food.
Yeah, in that example, there were 7 loaves of bread, and the patient was complaining that there was no bread. So we did send a picture.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it is hilarious.
I mean, we do that all the time. That's a complaint,
No food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is food.
Always.
And we don't just
food.
serve chicken nuggets regardless of the what do you call it? The bad review
Yeah.
on
Full cafeteria here.
yeah. I just want to I want to say something about reviews and treatment centers. First off, if you don't have a lot of reviews, you haven't been around for 20 years like Hope by the Sea has. And if you have all good reviews, it's probably not patients writing those reviews.
There you go.
We also deal with people that we have to set boundaries with to help them get better.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't like those boundaries. And when we set those boundaries, it causes them to get angry.
Yeah.
And sometimes when they get angry, they lash out at us
Yeah.
on the internet. So I would highly think about that stuff.
Not easy saving lives.
It's not. It really isn't.
No.
But we haven't been around for 20 years for no reason.
No, going strong. Strong and strong, stronger.
Very, very strong.
Very strong.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's haters from other treatment centers too. They write stuff too sometimes. Try to bring you down.
You can't bring down 22 years, bro.
No, you
That's
can't. No,
it.
I'm just saying. What I'm saying is sometimes other treatment centers will.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But it is what it is. You should have a mix of reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Call in, tour.
Yep.
You're not going to
Come
get a
by.
better spot.
Yeah.
There doesn't exist out there.
Right. Very true.
Yeah.
And buy a Solon t-shirt.
Yeah. Solid.
Thanks for coming, Erin.
Yeah, of course.
Aaron.
Thanks for having
Appreciate
me.
it.
You guys are great.
Yeah. Picture.